Morgan SLV here. Hey, hope you guys are all having a great day. Let's go over silver real quick before I get into what I want to discuss. Right now, gold is $12.39, pullback of $17. Silver is $18.73, pullback of 34 cents. Once again, it's just a little market update there. You guys can all study that and get into that a little bit more if you'd like. What I want to talk to you today about is fractional reserve banking. Let me give you a little example here. Let's say you pull into town. You got $1,000 in your pocket. You walk into a brand new bank. You're the very first customer. They have $0 on deposit. They take your $1,000. Give you your little bank receipt there. Now you have a $1,000 asset in that bank, and that bank has a $1,000 liability. Okay. Through fractional reserve banking, they can loan up pretty near 100% of that deposit. So you put in $1,000. Let's say they loan out $900. They have $1,000. They have $100 of that $1,000 left over for reserve, and everybody's happy. And of course, they're charging interest. Well, let's say over a course of a month, they take in $100,000, and of course, they're going to immediately loan that out. So they have they have $10,000 worth of bank deposits on reserve, and they've loaned out $90,000. But let's say a couple weeks go by, and everybody's making their payments and whatnot, but everybody that's put money in that bank decides to go in and take the money out. Well, how's that going to work out? They've got $10,000 sitting there, and they took in $100,000 worth of deposits. Where are they going to get the cash? You can see how that can kind of become a problem. It's an unlikely scenario, but they're called bank runs. Check into them. Let's go on a little bit more off my little crib notes here. How dollars come in existence. Let's look at that for a second. When you or I write a check, the funds must be in our bank to cover that check. But when the Federal Reserve writes a check, there is no bank deposits on deposit that check is drawn on. So where does that money come from? I don't know. Money heaven, as Robert Kiyosaki says. It's created out of thin air. So when the Fed writes a check, they are actually creating money. Okay, that's where it originates from. When you or I work and save, we trade our labor for dollars. In order to make any money on that money, we have to expose it to risk. Correct? Not so for the Fed. Like I say, they can just get out their mighty pen, or in this case, hit the entry button on their computer, and voila, another $1 trillion, right? It's said that a people that is given over the power to an entity of any kind, the power over their money supply, needs to watch that entity very close. So I suggest that all of you watch the Fed and what they're doing very closely. Okay? It took our country 300 years to create our first $1 trillion worth of money stock, according to what I was reading. Every road, every building, every boat, every piece of steel, every bridge, every car, pairs of pants, glasses, right? Everything. 300 years to go through the first trillion. Our most recent trillion took 4.5 months. So what's it going to be like in our nation if they start doing it, say, every 4 weeks, or every 4 days, or every 4 hours, or every 4 minutes? What's this country going to look like? There's no way that you can. I don't believe there's any way that you can continue on in that manner and still have a viable currency. Correct? How long is this going to go on? According to the author that I was reading on today, who knows? As long as number one, they're able to borrow money from other nations, or as long as they can print, right? So that can be a real problem, in that if they overinflate, they could destroy the dollar. That's going to be a problem worldwide. And of course, a lot of the countries talking about, there's grumblings in China, and they're talking with the Russians and whatnot about, replacing the currency. And if ours is not tethered to anything, which it isn't, we can run along and Helicopter Ben just be dropping money out of helicopters, and the rest of the world's got to watch. And either, if their currency is pegged, to our dollar, they either have to inflate their currency to stay competitive, or they're going to have to decouple. And Peter Schiff talks about that quite a bit, about the rest of the world. Just go ahead. He talks about America as, we're not the engine, the financial engine of the world. We're the caboose. And now that I've studied, what he's been talking about, I can definitely concur with that. You can't just print money out of thin air and hope everything's going to work out, because it just never does. There's been 3,800 currencies in the last 5,000 years. Some of them metal, some of them just plain paper. So once again, you really need to watch what the Fed's doing, number one. Number two, on a lighter note, I took a friend in, a police officer from Rockland, California, over to Rockland Coin Shop today. He purchased a couple of 100 ounces of silver, so hey, I created another silver bug, I guess some of you want to call us. I don't really care. I believe that if you read enough and you pay attention enough, that's probably a pretty good choice. It's not the only choice by any means, but it's a pretty good choice for, an everyday kind of person such as myself. I'm not a wealthy man. I'm doing okay. I'm doing a lot better than most people I know. But like I say, it just does my heart good to help people out. Some of the names that I want you guys to continue to pay attention to, let me give you a couple of different ones. Let's go with Mark Faber. That guy is widely regarded as, he's on the cutting edge of economic study. So Mark Faber would be one person you want to pay attention to. Jason Hummel out of California. The guy's a stud. All I can tell you, he has his own bullion shop there, so he's doing pretty good. David Morgan's another one you want to pay attention to. Once again, please give your support to Peter Schiff. Go to SchiffForSenate.com. Just take a quick peek at him. Listen to what he has to say. I think you'd be very impressed. He's definitely a red, white, and blue American, and I kind of like that. And he says it like it is, and he's not afraid. He'll go toe to toe with anybody conversationally, and explain his views. And he comes out on top most of the time, at least as far as I can tell. So once again, just kind of an overview of what I'm doing. I'm going to take my silver at an opportune time, and I'm going to change it into cash flowing real estate. And by the way, the more and more I study that and that game plan, the more and more I realize I'm not sure what my properties are going to cash flow at that time. Who knows what our planet's going to be like? They start creating $1 trillion every 4 days. Who knows what's going to happen? But I'll tell you this: I would go out and buy 40 or 50 units cash. They're not going to have to cash flow what they would if I was so strung out on loans, where I just put down 20% or whatever, 30% on a commercial loan, right? So I'll have a bit of a cushion there, and hopefully, through myself and some of the other guys out there, Da Vinci J15, the Peter Schiffs and Maloney's and all that, it will have helped enough Americans to where we can bring this country back at the time that it needs to come back, or at least that it's possible for it to come back. Once again, I always say, doesn't anybody in Washington own a calculator? If they do, they don't use it a whole lot. They must be in denial. They must have broke every mirror in the house so they don't have to look at themselves, for what they're doing with our monetary system. It's crooked. I don't like it. I'm not comfortable with it. But I am comfortable with the fact that if the tidal wave's coming, if you can either get into a dinghy or even be able to purchase a dinghy, that's a good thing to do. So that's what we're doing. Once again, we're also checking into a company called Site Build It, and these are just little mini commercials about this is what I'm doing to further my financial trail, so to speak, walk down my financial trail and for myself and my family. One of the things that I really am hoping for is that when I do become able to make 100% of my living online, so to speak, that'll give us freedom to move. If we have to move even out of this country, I can do it. And those things, some of the things that we're looking into. So once again, Morgan SLV here. I appreciate all your comments, good or bad. Most of them have been good, obviously. And we'll see you next time. Just stay tuned. If you have any questions, I like some of the debate I've been having here. I appreciate Da Vinci J15 becoming one of my subscribers. I really appreciate that a lot. And of course, I'm one of his great supporters too. And we'll see you soon, maybe even later today. And we'll talk to you next time. Morgan SLV out.